This is The Psychology of Spirit with AuKeeRa Rayne. You are invited to add your voice to our program by phone or email. Our toll-free number in North America is 1-866-472-5795. That's 1-866-472-5795. The email address is AuKeeRa@sasktel.net. That's AuKeeRa@sasktel.net. Now, back to The Psychology of Spirit.
So once you are aware of how you choose to feel, what I mean by don't complain is understand you are not a victim of your emotions. Your emotions do not rule you. You rule your emotions. Sometimes we feel overwhelmed by our emotions. Like I was saying, if we go into denial, it's like putting a lid on a pressure container. And when they explode, we go all over the place. Better yet to poke a hole in the bottom, just a small pinprick of a hole. And that little pinprick of a hole is a saying, I accept that I feel. I am grateful that I have emotions. If we allow our emotions to constantly run out on a regular basis and take the time to acknowledge them, they don't overwhelm us. I want to talk about anger for a second. Most of us think that in order to be angry, we have to show it through our tone of voice, through the look in our eyes, through our actions, through aggression. And as I spoke earlier, this is a very ego-bound way to deal with emotions. This is a very controlling and fearful way to deal with anger. When we are dealing with emotions, it is not to control the other person. Our emotions are ours. Often when we feel anger, it is because we don't feel that something is going the way that we want it to. We feel out of control. That's when we feel angry. How do most of you respond when you're feeling angry? Lots of us respond in different ways. Some of us stuff it and don't say anything at all. Now remember what I was talking about, sticking the lid on? And one day the container is going to burst. Some of us storm out of the room. Sounds like a 2-year-old, doesn't it? Some of us stomp our feet and yell back. Also, sounds like a 2-year-old or a 12-year-old. So what is the right way? And remember, I use the word right loosely. There are no mistakes here. So what is the maybe best way to express anger? Number one, when you acknowledge it. When you say, you know what, I am feeling angry, talk to yourself first. I am really pissed about this. I would like to kick somebody's butt. You're allowed to say those things. You're allowed to talk to yourself about it. And I mean, I have spent days in my car while driving, yelling at people who weren't there just to get to the bottom of my own issue. What is my problem? What am I so angry about? Only to find that I felt that something was being taken from me. So when you're feeling angry, talk to yourself. Yes, yell it out or journal it out. Try to do it when nobody's around, or yes, we do look kind of silly when we're yelling in a room all by ourselves. But listen to you. You need to be heard. Anger is one of our greatest teachers out there. It's also an extreme motivator because there's a lot of people, when we get angry and we decide to clean, I tell you, the house looks spotless. And it's a darn good thing. But the thing is don't decide that somebody else is responsible for your anger. Don't decide because somebody treated you with disrespect that they are now the target of your emotion. No. No. You are not 2 or 12, and you are not a victim of this life. You are a capable adult. capable. Human beings are the most incredible things you will ever see in your life. The ability we have is so astounding. Why would we throw down our toys and want to fight and argue? All of us know that arguments end up with no solution and two hurt people. All of us know that arguing, we can see it even with our politicians, arguing results in nothing. They waste hours and hours and hours fighting over nothing. So when you look at your anger and you say, okay, I love you, what's up? What's happening? And you listen to yourself and you ask yourself, so what can I do for you? Now remember, that means what can you do for you, not what you can tell somebody else what you want from them that they can do for you. Right? When we're working with our anger, we have to navigate our own solutions. For example, AuKeeRa bought a camera a while ago, and I went in because the camera had broken. And granted, I lost my receipt. I did. I had no receipt, so I knew there could be no recourse, but I am a solution-oriented person. I was treated with disrespect in the store. I was so hurt and angry, I walked out after I said, well, thank you, because I asked them, do you really not have a solution for me? And they said no. And I said, would you rather me shop at somewhere else? And they said, well, that's your choice. That astounded me. I am not used to people not working in a solution-oriented manner, but because I do believe what I do, I'm not going to tell her she's wrong. I'm going to say, okay, and I am going to leave respectfully and not be rude. There's no reason to be rude if we're not getting our own way. But I will tell you, it took me 3 weeks, 21 days to talk to myself through this situation so that I wouldn't react like a 2-year-old or a 12-year-old. It took 3 weeks for me to say, what's my solution? Who do I ask to get it? Because I was angry. And a lot of times with our emotions, what we need is time. But it's so funny. When we're in the heat of an argument, and don't think I haven't been there, because I have. The one thing we want to do is figure it out now. What are you trying to figure out? I don't know. Obviously, if I don't know what I'm feeling, you're not going to know what I'm feeling, but yet we're going to fight about it? It really makes no sense, but it's what we do. We're sitting there thinking, okay, if we fight about it and talk about it long enough, a solution will just magically appear. No. We all have been there long enough, and we all have been through enough situations to know arguing about it and everything like that results in two hurt people and a lot of emotions that need to be dealt with at another point in time. No, what I finally did was I finally went over their heads. But first of all, I went to a different store, one that I didn't find intimidating, and I said, what would happen if this happened in your store? What is my solution? And they said, well, you call the company. You email the company. Because it's a manufacturer's defect, they'll help you out. Well, heavens to Betsy, I never thought of that. But the thing was, neither did the store tell me that. So I thought, okay, take a step back. We're not going to blame anybody. This is what it is, This is the situation. So then I called the manager of the store that I originally bought the camera from. When we act in a respectful manner and don't react with our emotions, notice the different words. When we act rather than react, things work out when we use our emotions to our benefit. It works. So when I called the manager, I expressed that I was treated with a great amount of disrespect, and I don't feel it was appropriate because I absolutely love their store. I told him the problem. I told him that I understood that I didn't have a receipt. And I'm not expecting anybody to take the cost of anything for me. I don't expect anything for free, just like none of you do. And he said, come on in, we'll deal with it. Trust me, I could tell even in his look, the only thing he wanted to do was get me dealt with and out of his store. Am I grateful for what he did? Yes. He refunded my money on gift cards to the last sale price. And because I am the person I am, I immediately went to the photo department and brought another camera from their store. The same one that I had before. Yes, it cost me $20. So what? Should it have happened that way? No, but now I can do one of two things. I can choose to dwell on it and say, oh my God, you should see what they did to me, da, 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 da. And that's victim mentality. Or I can just go on with my life and be like, thanks, universe. Thank you for helping me out. Thank you for helping me understand this. Thank you for allowing me to be respectful for the people around me. Anger is something we just don't need to express. We don't need to give the look. When you give your husband or wife the look or the sigh, is it not trying to control them to some degree because you don't feel you're getting what you need? When your parents used to parent you and tell you to do something, what was your normal response? Most kids do the exact opposite. Most of us. So if we're treating the ones we love like children, giving them the look of disapproval, it's anger-based. Therefore, we're going to get rebellion. So now you have the parent-child relationship occurring. Anger is something that really has to be treated with respect. Anger, frustration, aggression, they need to be treated with a serious amount of respect. They're an emotion you want to feel. You do want to feel them. But seriously, you don't need to express them. I can look you right in the eye and say very calmly, I am so angry right now I could spit. And that's exactly how I would say it. Because I am comfortable with what I am feeling. I may not understand the anger, but trust me, on some level I'm working to figure it out. Whether it's journaling or whether it's talking to myself. Do I sit there and talk to friends that I deeply trust? Do I rant and rave sometimes? Or darn right. And when I do that, I find people who can handle the fact that I have my own solutions. I don't need unsolicited advice. We'll talk more about that in just a couple minutes.
Listening on a higher dimension. Seventh Wave Network.